Hey guys, Jason Fox here and welcome to another video. This video is going to be a little bit different. I sit down with one of my students, Alex, and talk you through the process of what allowed him to go from nothing to a six-figure run rate in just a couple of months. So sit back, relax, make sure you take notes and enjoy this one. I'll see you soon.
So yeah, charging $60 for quite a bit of work, it's not worth doing at all. And it, really burnt me down to the core doing that quite a lot. So things are definitely starting to change now, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, tell me, because I think that a lot of people go through this though with the charging little. Like, what was the thought process behind charging those sort of prices?
Yeah, it was a lack of confidence in what I was offering. I personally didn't see the actual immense value in the service that I was offering for people. And so I didn't feel confident enough, charging them a reasonable rate. I didn't feel like people would want to work with me. And I was also worried because, I was still new to the game. I was worried about competing with people charging $20 on Fiverr. And so I guess the biggest problem was having that lack of confidence in what it was that I was doing. Ultimately, I think that was a problem, was not having that confidence. And so I felt like unless I charged like a pretty low amount, people weren't going to want to work with me.
Yeah. Okay. So you thought you were competing with people on Fiverr. That's interesting. And so your service though was just writing stuff for people on LinkedIn. Like, why did you specifically pick that service?
Yeah, primarily it was. I just felt like it was a relatively easy kind of service to package up. And, there are so many people that I could reach out to on LinkedIn who didn't have, who didn't have optimized profiles. I could reach out to them relatively easily, get them as a client. Whether they actually needed the service or whether they were just happy because it was only $60 is, that's a different question in itself. But it was easy to package up. I could upsell them on different small things here and there, different keywords, different skills. Like I could, recommend them on their profile and stuff. There were different little upsells, but in terms of like an actual package, it was pretty easy for me to say, hey, this is what we're doing. It's this, and this, and this. It'll be this much. It was just an easy sell.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I guess from there, you kind of progressed from charging the smaller prices there. What really changed for you to charge more?
Yeah, the biggest thing was really looking at the result that I can actually bring my clients, and also, changing my service and my focus up a little bit, understanding the potential of what it is that I'm actually doing for people. So obviously, people pay a lot for Facebook ads because they can produce quite phenomenal results. People pay a lot for email marketing because it can produce phenomenal results. People pay a lot for a good landing page because if your landing page sucks, you're not going to convert. So I guess for me, changing up my service a little bit to offer copywriting in areas that actually bring people real results, that gave me more confidence to go, okay, I can charge a lot more, because realistically, if I'm doing a good job, it doesn't really matter what I charge as long as I can bring people, a lot more money than what I'm asking, basically. So that gave me a lot more confidence to charge significantly higher rates.
So it's kind of though, I'm thinking of it I always try to put analogies and things, as you well know, is thinking of it like you more so became essential to a business's sales process.
Yeah.
Rather, before you were kind of for example, let's say a doctor, there's a big cut in someone's wound. You were kind of just the Band-Aid on top of that, that just covered things. But instead, now you're the person who disinfects it, you clean it, you stitch that up. So it's more essential, which means that person who does all that side of things is more essential. Would you say that is really the change?
I would completely agree. I guess it really goes from, what I was doing before, it was a nice to have. Yeah. But what I'm doing now is an absolute need to have. So you've got obviously you've got your painkillers and you've got your vitamins.
Yeah.
Your vitamins, you can live without. Painkillers, like if you've got a headache, you're going to do whatever it takes to get rid of that headache because it's like, debilitating at times. And so I guess it's just, changing a little bit from going, okay, is my service a nice to have or is it an absolute need to have? If it's a need to have, you can charge a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that's really important for everyone to understand as well. And I also want to get into it because you, like, since we worked together, do you think your copywriting skills have improved, or were you already really good back then?
I think I was all right, but I was decent back then. My copywriting skills have certainly improved a lot more now. I think I'm also, because I've got a lot more confidence in what I'm doing, I'm willing to kind of push boundaries that little bit more. I'm, a little bit more willing to really put myself out there and put kind of my soul into my work, for lack of a better term. So my copywriting now has, it is a hell of a lot better. I'm taking different angles that I never would have taken. I'm writing things that I never would have written. But it is, that's showing that was probably a really good thing for me to start doing. So my copywriting's definitely improved.
Yeah. So I think from that, it's also like your skills have improved, but you're charging, like, would you say your prices have improved as much as your skills have improved though?
My prices, I think, look, in all honesty, I think I could start charging even more than I am charging now. In fact, not even probably, I can definitely start charging more. I guess, as I said before, it's all about the results that you can bring people. And so as my results get even better for my clients, I'll start charging more. But it's a constant, it's always going up.
Yeah, 100%. No, I agree. And I'm like, so pumped that's been the big change for you, is the pricing side of things, because you were like struggling with the lower end payments, and then now you're charging so much more and you're getting more people. And that's usually the way it works. It usually works like that. Once you start upping your price, you get better quality people, you'll get easier to work with clients. So one thing I wanted to ask you is, what would you have what tip would you have for someone who is kind of starting their agency or starting their whatever business it may be, that's a service? Like, what are some tips that you would have for them?
So I guess first and foremost, like, understand the one thing that you can offer a client. You need to like don't try to offer them every single service under the sun. Pick one service and really give it your best shot, just to get that first client, get that one person to give you a shot. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what they're doing. They're giving you a shot. You don't have the experience. You don't have the case studies, the results. You just need to get one person to see that you're willing to do whatever it takes to get them the results that you're promising. Once you've got that first client, give it like absolutely everything you've got to get them the best results possible. And it's going to make signing new clients a hell of a lot easier. You just need to get that one case study, that one little batch of results where when somebody asks you on that next sales call, like, have you done this before? You're going to have a lot more confidence. You're going to be able to say, yes, I have. This is what we did. This is a problem that my client was having. This is how we solved it. And that's going to give, future prospects and future clients a lot more confidence in you, which is going to make everything a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, I agree. I love that. That's awesome. And I've got a quick question here from Andrew. When you first began, how did you approach gaining your first client? And he says, just for context, I find most people who are looking to pay someone for copywriting want to see past experience or projects. How did you begin in the loop of gaining clients without actually having worked for someone before?
So I, the first couple of clients that I got, I created a Loom video of me just auditing their landing pages so that they could see, I didn't have actual past work that I'd completed for clients, but I still knew kind of what to look for. And I knew how to, I knew how to write copy because I'd spent, months and months and months studying it. So I knew enough to be able to make somebody's landing page better. So what I did was I created a video of me just auditing their landing page, telling them how they could have improved their headline, how they could have improved, their little bullet points to be more appealing to their audience, and just trying to show what little expertise I did have in that video as much as possible. And, giving that amount of value upfront to somebody completely for free was at least enough for them to click on the video and be willing to watch it. From there, they did fortunately decide to reach out to me, but I'd recommend doing something like that. I wouldn't necessarily recommend just sending people cold looms all the time, because
Yeah.
it's kind of just like, yeah, it's a bit in your face.
Yeah.
But people are always looking, people always want free advice. So if you just get in, like, have a conversation with someone, ask them if they're willing to have you share a few ideas with them completely for free, and then send them a loom video like that. You don't need to have any, past results or any past work. Just show them that you know enough about the thing that you're trying to help them with. And it's very likely that somebody will give you a shot, even on just something small like a blog post or, a LinkedIn profile or a landing page. That's what I would do.
Yeah, completely agree with that. And I think that a lot of people miss that, right? Is they think, oh, I don't have any case study or testimonials or results, like, and I can't get clients. Like, well, the problem is that you don't know your stuff and you don't know what you're doing. Like, I never got asked for case studies when I was first starting my agency, because I didn't really know. It wasn't great, but like, I knew my stuff and I was confident in speaking about it. So like, cool, I trust you. If you can showcase that expertise, then people will trust you and they will be like, okay, I want to work with this person. Showcasing that expertise is perfect. And for copy, for example, is you can mock something up or do something for them, like showcase what you can do. And I think you've done that a few times. Like, you sent some example work, and like, I would almost, if someone is in, let's say they're in the coaching space and you wanted to sign them as a client, is you could just pick one of their competitors, write the copy for one of their competitors and say, hey, this is what I, mocked up for the competitor. And they're like, okay, cool. That's fantastic. So I think that you can really showcase it and that expertise. I think it's really important. So yeah, I love that answer, man.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, let's touch on copywriting, since I think that I don't talk enough about it with like at all, because it's, for me, it's like one of those skills that it's not natural to me. I've got like C's and D's in English, like horrible grammar, horrible at all this stuff. Even now, like, I'm really bad at all that stuff. But what kind of got you involved in copy? Like, why did you want to jump into copywriting?
Yeah, so I guess English for me was something that I always really liked. I've always been like a massive nerd. I didn't do great in school, but the one subject that I did well in was English. I've just always understood it pretty bloody well. And so I guess, the thing that really drove me to want to do copywriting, I sucked at working for other people and I knew that I wanted to work for myself. And the only real skill that I had was that I knew how to write.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I looked at different ways that I could make money online writing, and copywriting kept jumping out. From there, I didn't really understand that I could make an actual proper wage off copywriting. And so I tried different online businesses out. But all of those different businesses, from, drop shipping to coaching when I had nothing to coach about, everything still came back to me needing to write good copy to get my audience's attention. And realizing how significant copywriting is across every single aspect of business showed me just how big it is and how important it is as a skill. And that's what made me want to focus more on it. So that's kind of, that's what really got me into copywriting.
Yeah, no, I love that. And then, what kind of, like, how did you level up? Like, was it courses, books? Like, what was the process of leveling up for copy?
Yeah, so a hell of a lot of trial and error. So I spent a lot. I spent a lot on, different copywriting books and different copywriting courses. And that's all well and good. You can spend as much as you want on courses, but at the end of the day, the only real way to get better is just to practice. Mm-hmm. So the way that I did that was I took a bunch of brands that I wanted to work with, a bunch of influencers, a bunch of, authors, coaches, all of that stuff. And I just picked something of theirs to start writing about. So, Mark Manson, for example, the author.
Yep.
I wrote a bunch of emails selling his book.
Wow.
I'm not his copywriter, but there's nothing stopping me from, still writing those emails. And, what does that allow me to do? It allows me to get the practice in. It allows me to, get a few samples in my portfolio. As long as I'm open and transparent that I didn't actually write them for him, I still wrote them, and it still gives people, a chance to see how I can write. So ultimately, nothing really beats actual practice. Sit down, start writing, write every single day. There's really no way to get around that learning curve. You just have to kind of sit down and start writing.
Yeah, love that, man. That's really cool. And I think taking the examples, like that's kind of similar to what we did, is that we would reverse engineer people's funnels and reverse engineer like how they got their clients, and just really break that down and practice that and practice. Okay, this is a client that we want to achieve, like what are some strategies we can work with them on. So then when it comes to the meetings, you're very confident in knowing what you can talk about, knowing that you can deliver for these guys. And I think that's so often overlooked, is actually becoming great at what you do is going to get you clients so much more than like literally anything else, any little tactic. But yeah, so I appreciate you sharing that. And kind of what other advice would you have for copywriters? Like what do you think is something that, or even just agencies in general, like to get better and to write better copy that will like get their audience to take action?
Yeah. So there's probably two tips that I have that really go hand in hand. The first is really diving into what is that like one thing that really motivates your audience to want to take action, to get them to really want to buy. A lot of people focus on the surface benefits of what their product or service offers. You always hear people talking about don't write features, write benefits. That's all well and good, but why are those benefits significant to your audience in the first place? So if we take teeth whitening, for example, the benefit of teeth whitening is obviously you'll get whiter teeth, but why is that actually important to your audience? Well, is it that they'll feel more confident, or is it that they actually just want to be more attractive to potential partners?
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot more significant to them than just having whiter teeth. They can live without whiter teeth, but if that burning desire for them is to get a partner that they're attracted to, feel loved by, they're gonna want to feel more attractive to those people, to get that confidence to go out and actually approach them. And so really understanding what is that deep motivator that makes somebody actually want something. It's not necessarily that they want whiter teeth, they want to be more attractive. And that's a lot more appealing to them than just whitening your teeth, right? And then as well, in addition to that is understanding the actual audience that you're writing for. You could have people that, their biggest motivating force is they want to be more attractive, or you could be targeting with the exact same product, doing the exact same thing, getting the exact same results. You could be targeting young professionals and tell them, as long as the stats are right, having a bright white smile makes you 7 times more likely to get that promotion. And maybe that's their, really strong underlying motivation, not having white teeth. So I guess, ultimately it's asking why, why is this important to my audience? And then asking why again, why is that important? And getting to the root motivator. That's going to make all of your copy more powerful.
Yeah.
That's my biggest tip.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And it's like the one thing that I always do, and I have it in our program, is like client avatar and writing that stuff out. And it always seems like everyone skips over that stuff because everyone thinks it's like rah, all of this. But in reality, it's some of the most important things that you can do, because for example, is when we were writing copy for an old program, is we actually collected survey information and asked them the questions that we're going to put in our copy. And then we used the language that they use. Like one word I remember that stood out that I never really used before was, and it's a common word, like reputation. People kept saying, I don't want to ruin my client's reputation. I was like, that's interesting. Yeah. Added that into the copy, converted at a higher rate. So that's a really good way. And for me, I'm the only copywriting training I have, just reading books and Ogilvy on advertising, all of that side of things is the only copy training I have. Yeah. But just using that language, just so important. So yeah, I love that tip, and definitely everyone should be writing that down and utilizing that. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to kind of get and understand a little bit from your perspective. Well, it's also good feedback for me. What it was like kind of working with me in the last, few months. What's your experience been? I'd love to hear.
Absolutely. So for me, my experience, as I said, I've bought a lot of courses in the past. I've, been in programs. I've I've been around coaches and consultants and stuff a lot. What really stood out to me when working, with yourself, and obviously we're still working together, is the fact that you didn't just put out some course and then leave us to try and figure out everything on our own. We're speaking twice a week, and we're getting real-time feedback on how to actually solve the problems in our business that you've solved yourself. And I think that that's been one of the most significant things for me, was being able to ask a question that I'm at a stage at the moment. You've been in my position before, so you know how to overcome these things. And I guess the problem with a lot of courses and programs out there is they've got this old, outdated information, and you don't really have much support. And so you get to a point in the course that doesn't make sense to you, and you're basically stuck. You don't know how to overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
Working with yourself, we've got access to you, we've got access to Tommy, and being able to go, hey, listen, I've got this problem, this doesn't make sense. And then you're actually working through that with us. That's been absolutely instrumental. That's saved me so much time, saved me so many headaches, and has really, really made a big difference for me, which has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think the big thing for me is I love that side of things. Is I actually get giddy when I'm like, all right, I got this shit to share with the guys on the call tonight, because for me, it's all about business is changing every single day. I shared a tactic 2 months ago with Instagram stuff, and now I'm not doing it. And I'll probably share that on tomorrow's call, just a little bit about that, because I've found things that are different. And I think that that's important as a coach, to be able to share what's working right now. As I said to you guys, I would share, literally, I'll get off the phone, okay, this tactic works, and then you guys have that by the end of the night. So I think that that's it's enjoyable for me, and knowing that's appreciated is awesome, man. So cool. I appreciate you sharing that. I think that that's all I really wanted to cover. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on?
Look, I guess for anybody watching this, whether it's on the live or on the replay, if working with Jason is something that you have considered, I guess I am the first person to just absolutely tell you to get off the fence. And I'm not just saying this just to please Jason. If this wasn't something that I really actually believed could help you, I wouldn't be telling anybody to do it. But genuinely, for the amount for the short period of time that I've been working with Jason, and the significant growth that I've seen in myself as a professional and as a business owner, and in my business as well, it's been ridiculous. Having that level of support, having access to someone who's been there, who's done that, that's honestly going to be the fastest, easiest, most stress-free way to grow as a person and as a business owner. I would honestly just recommend, send Jason a message, tell him that you're interested, and just, find out if it's for you. There's, you've really got nothing to lose except for literally everything. So, you can try and do it yourself. I would honestly just recommend reaching out to Jason and seeing if he can help you.
Yeah,
truly.
Love that, man. I really, really appreciate that. So if you guys are interested, just send me a message. I'll put a comment down below. Just send me a message. And also, if you guys are interested in getting Alex's support with copy as well, Alex is definitely the best copywriter that I know. And anytime anything copy comes related, I'm tagging you or posting and recommending. And so look, we're here for you to grow, and really appreciate you coming on, Alex. And we'll do this again soon.
Absolutely, Jason. I appreciate you having me on, man. It's been great.